Oh well, fail on. Hey everybody, thanks for joining us. Sometimes StreamYard has a little bit of a burp when you first launch it, and I didn't have a chance to run through my videos to make sure that they're running properly this evening. So, anyway, thank you for joining us. It is the Political Deep Dive After Hours show. We just had an wonderful hour with Ashley Shade of Outright Libertarians, candidate for North Adams, Massachusetts City Council, and let's bring her back on. Goddess Ashley, welcome back.
Thank you. It's great to be with you.
Yes. And also joining us this evening is my sister, Care Bear.
Tibby-doo.
Joining us from Albuquerque, New Mexico. How are you doing this evening?
I'm very well. I just got back from a lovely dinner date with my sweetheart.
Nice.
We went to Paisanos, and I had veal ossobuco, and so I'm very happy, and there's a bottle of wine waiting for me when this is all over, so let's make it snappy.
Fantastic. So, yeah, happy Valentine's Day, by the way.
Happy Valentine's Day.
So this week we had the culmination of impeachment part 2 and
part
were you, of course, I don't think anybody was surprised at the outcome. I was surprised that they actually got 7 votes. I thought it was going to stick around 5. But, that does make Trump's impeachment the most voted for impeachment by members of his own party. Mm-hmm. So, and in fact, more Republicans voted in the Senate than they did in the House, I believe.
I think it was 10. It was 10. I think it was 10 in the House.
Oh, 10 in the House.
And okay. 7, but I could be wrong.
Still, members of his own party that ended up supporting the impeachment. You've got to think that there's going to be a price to pay for those folks. The Democrats the Republicans who voted against impeachment of Andrew Johnson in 1867 or so, 66, something like that. All 10 Republicans who voted to not impeach all lost. They never served political office again. That was kind of the heart of John Kennedy's, political acts of courage, in that, those people laid out they sacrificed their careers in doing what was right. There are some senators I think will survive this, but I think that what we've got going on with the GOP right now is, you're going to see some, do I think Mitt Romney loses? I don't know. I think that brand of Utah Republican was never comfortable with Trump.
Mm-hmm.
But like Ben Sasse, I think Ben Sasse is done.
Bigger and better things, maybe.
I don't know. What do you think, Ashley? What were your thoughts on the impeachment?
Well, honestly, I think Donald Trump's most greatest achievement in his presidency is the destruction of the Republican Party. Yeah. It is self-imploding, and I, for one, am loving the show.
Me too.
Blow yourselves up to split off. Go ahead.
I tend to agree. I tend to agree, but here's the thing that I was hoping for. I was hoping that the Republican Party would say, no, this is a bridge too far. You tried to kill your own vice president. Let's not say yes to that. And that the Republican Party would go back to being a serious conservative opponent and not just this feces flinging one man clown
Well, yeah, I mean,
car.
it has become a cult. I mean, it did.
It's a
become
cult.
Yeah.
And but I don't know that. Well, here's the thing. I think it happens is that the Republicans bailed Trump out this time, and they're still going to split. The Trump people are going to split. They're going to go and do their own party, and I'm wondering. I know that they didn't make any. There were always rumors that this was going to happen, but I think now that we are past impeachment, do they really start putting the screws to the GOP and saying, yeah, we're leaving? And what
Where do they
happens?
go?
Well, they'll form another party, and
But they know the problems with that. There's ballot access. I mean, it'll take
I don't know.
a new third
we
party.
we know.
I know you know. I mean, it'll
We
take
know they don't.
a new third party 40 years to build enough strength to. I mean, honestly, I hope that conservatives of goodwill who are not homophobes, racist, I hope that those people who just carry conservative values but aren't monsters, which, all 6 of them could come over to the Libertarian Party, and I'd be happy with that. And I'd love to see the Libertarian Party get more traction nationally. But again, 40 years. So what? We're going to have the Trump
50 years
Party?
for us.
50 years, 60
Yeah. Well,
maybe. I don't know.
They're going to have significant numbers. I don't know that in some states. I don't think they're going to have issues getting on the ballot where it takes signatures. But I have joked the whole time that Republicans are going to leave the party and then discover the laws that they passed as Republicans are really going to be their progress in forming a party. So
Oops.
yeah.
They will also find the one area where they will have a little more leeway is Trump draws money. He gets the donations. They'll have the money to fight things.
But all those big donors have stopped writing checks because of what Trump did.
A lot of them, but not
a lot of them.
Not the small ones. The
small ones.
And when you think about it, like it's almost like we're talking about cult. It is almost like a religion. They're pumping these small, older voters for money, tithed to Trump. Basically, that's kind of the concept that you're seeing here. It's older.
Well, it's like televangelism.
Yeah, it is televangelism, and so he's going to continue to raise money. Maybe he pays off this massive debt that he has off of this money. Although political contributions, maybe that's how they end up eventually convicting him, is that he'll probably bilk his campaign funds out of all this money. But
see, I think ultimately he is going to face some serious legal consequences here, and the next year is really going to tell the story. So
I think the financial consequences are going to hit him first.
Yeah,
I think the financial ones, but I think probably also the criminal charges that are starting to stack up against him in Georgia, DC, New York. I think he's going to be facing a lot of trouble, and he owes a lot of money to what looks like Russia. So maybe he'll even have to return his wife. I don't know.
I don't think he'll have to return his wife, but he may have to return her tits.
Oh, don't you mean her kidneys? Those are kidneys. She had a kidney operation.
Oh my goodness.
Ashley. I'm gonna write you a check.
So again, I wasn't surprised at the result. I was surprised at the number of Republicans who did join it. It wasn't enough. And fucking Mitch McConnell.
Oh my God! You should have heard
all
me.
this. He did that.
Stupid mother.
Quit.
I swore so much at my television. What the fuck are you talking about? You sit down, sir. You have nothing to say. And then I tweeted something horrible to Lindsey Graham. So if I go to jail, I'm sorry.
Look, at the end of the day, where we're looking at the destruction of the Republican Party, there's going to be some kind of split and fracture, which is great. I can't wait for Biden to cause that same fissure within the Democratic Party and watching them split, because that's on the verge of happening as well.
I'm a Democrat. I'm a Democrat. I don't know if David told you that. And I've been a Democrat and an activist for, my entire adult life, which, is
Mhm.
at least 15 years now.
Understood.
I think the split is a good thing.
Well, and I'm
I
a
think we
Sanders
need,
Democrat.
yeah, we need more. We need different representation in Congress. And here's what's happened.
Mhm.
We've got two parties take over, and all they do is make the worst compromises possible. They don't stand on anything
Mhm.
they actually believe in anymore. But
Mhm.
if our Congress ran similar to the way Parliament does, with 4 or 5 or 6 different, ideals and factions within, it would be a better representation of our government. And guess what? Laws were not supposed to be easily passed. So it's going to be harder to pass laws that infringe on people's lives by having more factions in Congress.
It's
That's
also
a
a
good
moderating
thing.
influence. Yeah, it's a
That's a
moderating.
good thing. That's part of the checks and balances.
Yeah.
The founding
Well,
fathers were afraid
yeah.
of political parties for this exact reason.
Mhm.
This is
Yeah.
exactly why they didn't want them.
The only thing that I would see positive coming out of the Trump split, I mean, outside the fact that the Republicans kind of collapsed on themselves, is that whatever comes out, whether whoever wins this war within the GOP, does the old establishment win, or does the new, does the Trumper wing win and take the party apparatus over? Whoever is left behind and makes that new party is going to be big enough to really kind of uh, influence enough to remove some of the shackles that we have when it comes to ballot access.
Probably
That's
not.
probably not.
But here's the thing: nationalism never wins.
No.
And that's
We
what
don't.
Trump's camp is. It's nationalism.
Yep.
Right.
That's exactly what it is. And so nationalism will eventually die out again. It'll be defeated. It'll be beaten back. And there's always going to be nationalists, and they're always going to do terrible things. And they're the kind of group of people that are going to be very difficult to reach and try to convince that, hey, this is not such a good thing. But at the end of the day, they are always loud. They are always present.
Mhm.
And they like to fight. And so they're not just going to back down and go away overnight. But again, nationalism does not win, and we do not play nationalism. It is different to be patriotic than it is to be nationalist.
Yeah.
It's okay to love your
Right.
country, but being patriotic also means calling out your country on its own BS.
Right.
It means when you fuck up, you call it out. Hey, our country should not be killing brown babies in Afghanistan and Iraq 21 years later. What are we
Right.
doing?
Yep.
Like, come on. Like, call out your own bullshit. That's part of the process. That is patriotic. Edward Snowden is a patriot,
Mhm.
right? Calling out our own country on its own bullshit. That's good. That needs to happen more often.
Right.
That's how it gets.
Nationalism is about fear. It's about hiding it. It's about control, and that's exactly what we don't need in government. They already have enough control. We don't need more.
Doug Stanhope's routine on nationalism is probably one of my favorite comedy bits of all time. Basically taking credit for shit that you've never done, or have no. There's nothing that, like, I was born in the United States. Just a happy accident of my birth that I'm here.
Mhm.
Why should I, say that I'm a better person just because I was born here? And a lot of these people that are the most ardent supporters of that thought are people who really don't do much to contribute to the community anyway, and that or contribute to the national story in any meaningful manner.
Mhm.
I always have that. It's the same thing with racism. The happy accident of your birth that your parents had this gene sequence that means your skin's white, and the other kid's skin's brown. I mean, you have no control over that, and that kid has no control over that. But that I'm better because of a happy accident at my birth is complete bullshit. We do have a couple comments. I hope I'm not going to butcher your name. Elizabeth Coquillard. I hope I got that right. I was told today that my efforts were a waste unless I create a better Republican Party. Like I said, no thanks. I don't like the taste of boots or crony big government, big spending. And she laughs about that. And then she also says, yes, Ashley, we need more representation, more parties. Absolutely, we do. And I'm hoping that we can see something like ranked choice voting come to the fore.
Yep.
That will help. That will help. Not only will it help create more voices and bring in more voices, but it's also a moderating influence on elections. Because if you're, let's say you're in Georgia, and Georgia's had this issue with these long ass runoff elections. So now you put in ranked choice voting. And these elections are just awful. Like, you can't turn on the TV without someone saying someone is the devil, and then the other person is this corporate leech or whatever. And we had our guy in there, Shane Hazel, and if you had to moderate your message to be able to be that second vote for all the libertarians that were voting, or all the non-affiliated people that were voting. Or in that, the other race with Ossoff and whatever her name was.
Leffler,
where they had just a ton of candidates, where you had to be, to win, you're going to have to be somebody's second choice. You're going to moderate your message. You're not going to be roasting people. You're going to be putting out why people should vote for you.
Exactly.
That's what we've seen with ranked choice voting in places where they had, like San Francisco. To an extent in Maine, you're seeing much more positive campaigning rather than, vote for me because the other person's the devil and you should.
Yes.
So, so this week we, mentioned DNA. My sister and I, so I did the 23andMe. I'd done Ancestry a while back. We are biological siblings. I have no doubt of this.
Full siblings, and absolutely.
And there's
in fact, there's a difference, and it's so funny because when I was telling Patrick, that's my partner, about the differences, he said, "Do you remember your mom being pregnant with David?"
But you do.
Yes,
so, yes,
I do, and you look so much like our dad.
Yeah.
What? You adopted. But you look so much like our dad.
And we look so much
ridiculous.
alike. So I mean,
we look so much alike. Yeah.
Yeah.
I almost, for this bit, set, I almost took like an eyebrow pencil and made a mustache and goatee, so that people could see just how much we look alike. We really do. Yeah. Except you, so pink.
I am. Well,
you get so red. You burn, dude. What's up with that?
I know. I am a little bit more Northern European than you are.
It's true.
I'm much more honky than you are.
Cracker. We picked you up at Cracker Barrel. The gift.
That's awful. That's awful. These are damn lies.
It's funny. David and I can sit together on the couch with nothing prompting us and just laugh for an hour in tears, doubled over, without anything having been said.
Yeah, there's
just
no
make each other laugh all the time.
We're related. Yeah, there's no question that we're related.
No.
It's just that our ancestry tests are different. Like, I'm more Northern European than she is. Mm-hmm. She's more Southern European than, and like we have some West Asian. And mine is like based out of the Levant and Cyprus, and yours is like Iran and the Atlas Mountain. Mm-hmm. So it's really interesting to see the differences within the same family, brother and sister.
Right.
No, we get different genes, right?
Right.
Yeah, we do to an extent. I just didn't know that location would have that big of a change, and we do have Neanderthal in us.
Well, it makes sense in some ways because some of your genes, like, your eye color or your hair color or things like that, are based off of dominant or not dominant genes. And so if you had a grandparent somewhere in the family tree, or vice on and on and on, and one of you got a less dominant gene that doesn't come out so much, it's going to show a different result. So scientifically, it does make sense.
But the difference was even strange because I've done the ancestry one too, and my
Mhm.
ancestry was completely different as well from 23andMe to ancestry. So maybe because ancestry might not go back as far because it didn't have any of my first, because ancestry updates over time.
Yeah.
My first one did have West Asian in it, but everyone since has just been completely white European dominant.
Looks that way to me.
But I don't know. I would like to see someone take both of those tests and kind of compare and contrast and see why is it so different between the two companies.
I'll take the ancestry one next.
All right.
I'll order that.
Yeah, Vic's on that one.
They definitely use different data and algorithms and test for different things. So
yeah, I'm sure.
I don't know. I've never gotten one of those tests before. I'm not really interested in knowing where I came from.
It's pretty fun.
It is kind of fun, because
I'm
it actually debunked, a family story of ours, and
yes,
a
big one.
It has some things that surprised me out of it, like we have Norwegian in our blood, but it's really more Swedish than anything, which makes sense. I mean, back then the border was not a hard thing, so you had people going across the Scandinavian plains or the mountains actually back in that area. But Finnish, we have Finnish in our group. We have Greek and Albanian. So some of the lesser known ones. The Cyprus one really got me. Like I
was surprised.
I never.
Yeah, mine says
Cyprus.
Mine says no Cypriot at all.
Yeah, that's interesting. But
it could also be that the tests are completely inaccurate, which is.
This is true.
I don't know.
Yes.
That could be. That could be.
It's close enough to our family story that I kind of trust what it does say, because mom's side of the family was Northern European and dad's side of the family was Italian. So
makes sense.
It does make sense that the majority of our DNA is from those two regions, and maybe 23andMe does go back a little further, and the further back you go, it is a little bit less accurate. They're just kind of spitballing, I guess. But it is cool. I really enjoy it, and mainly because I'm more of a geographic nerd than anything. So,
well, you're all kinds of nerd.
Yeah, I'm just a nerd. Yeah. So Elizabeth says, "I'm not giving my DNA to anyone. I already gave it for ancestry." I'm like, you can always have it. Francesca has access to Vic's. So.
Oh, cool. Okay, is she on?
She's on the Facebook.
Oh,
beloved Francesca. Mwah.
We love you, Francesca, the great Francesca.
Francesca.
So when you talk about Cyprus, I don't think that should be too surprising if you have you're talking about Mediterranean and Greek, back thousands of years ago, Cyprus was part of Greece. So
right.
I'm not surprised, but it's the first time it popped up in this one for me. And then, of course, she doesn't have it at all. So, Kyle Perk says,
they do update too, so they could look at your results and go, well, maybe we're seeing that too here. So it does update and it does change. Mine went when I first got my results, I was 38% Italian, and that
like
changed to 40. Now it's closer to 48. It's
40.9. Actually, I'm equal both Northern European and Southern European. 40.9 on both. So, I don't know. Well, eventually we'll figure it out. Francesca says, "Happy Valentine's Day. Love you. We love you too, darling.
We love you too, baby.
We need to get out of Kansas City soon. Because I need some barbecue."
Ooh.
Gates.
Yammers. I want a yammer.
There we go. Set the whistleblowers free from Elizabeth. Yes, absolutely. We need to be collectively louder than the nationalists. Absolutely. I mean, I always bristle when people say we just need to restrict their speech. That always
No.
worries me. And it always the slippery slope argument of we restrict their speech. What becomes bad after that? There are certain bad speeches that you should definitely shout down. You should hold people to account for it. I just don't think government is the way to make that the body to make that decision. I think that's the market shouting those people down, like Gina Carano this week.
Yeah.
I just want to say that I think that the hardest thing for me, because yesterday I found myself incredibly emotional as they read the vote and weeping. I was weeping. And what occurred to me that is the hardest thing for me to take is that the strength of America, the guardrails that we were told were there to protect us from tyranny, to protect us from an autocrat, to protect us from one branch of the government crushing the other branch of the government, aren't there. They're just not.
Well,
and
again, when we're talking about government, we're talking about people, and people have.
I understand that.
Yeah, we have to invest in people rather than and invest that knowledge and those guardrails in people rather than hoping that a piece of paper will tell us that we can't do that.
What do you mean, a piece of paper?
The laws. I mean, the laws that we have are, we looked at it. They can be abrogated as quickly as possible. All you need is a highly motivated people to do it. And you had highly motivated people at the Capitol on June 6th. Did they care that you can't go to the Capitol when they're having a session like that? What, in the way that they did it?
Mm-mm.
No.
No, but should these people be taken seriously as a movement if they're going there and breaking things and killing people? That video of the cop that was shut, being squished by the door.
Yeah.
I don't know if you connected them, but he was the cop who was tased so many times and beaten for hours that he had a heart attack. And I mean, that's why he was screaming, was he was having a heart attack and he was dying. He didn't die, he survived it, but boy, that was a really bad scene, and that man suffered. Mm-hmm. And these are the Blue Lives Matter crowd. Well, I don't think so. They don't really have a platform. They just went there. They shit on the floor. They shit in the seats. They ransacked the offices. They threatened people. They menaced people for hours. And, the reason why I wanted Trump convicted was, besides the fact that he sent them there, and there was no question of that, but when they were begging for help, when they were begging for reinforcements for their police to quell this riot of violent people, and Trump just said, well, maybe you just don't care enough about the election. Yeah, I wanted him to go down for that.
So, when it comes to what happened at the Capitol, it was a horrific thing. The people that stormed the Capitol, they were terrorists. That's the only thing to call what they did. They attacked the democratic process. They tried to invade the Capitol to stop the democratic process, and they were acting as treasonous terrorists and should be convicted as such. Every last one of them. Anyone who went inside that building, anyone who caused destruction or violence, should be convicted fully for that.
Yeah.
Should they be taken seriously as a political movement? Unfortunately, yes. They've proven that they're serious. They're even serious enough to cause violence. So do you have to pay attention to them? Yeah.
But that's not a platform. It's not
a platform. And it's not something to run on. But they can, and they have followers. Trump just ran on that, and look how many people came out for him. We have to take that seriously. It is a threat. It is not good, but we have to take it seriously.
But is it a political movement? Is it something that, because honestly, I think if you had
It's a terrorist organization.
It's a terrorist organization.
Terrorism is inherently political.
Unfortunately, yes.
If you had stripped the members of Congress and their staff and the vice president down and covered them in honey and unleashed ants on them, or bees, fire ants, whatever, the effect would have been the same. They weren't out for any agenda or that was
But
cogent.
these people weren't politically motivated. That's the difference.
Yeah.
These people weren't there just to try to hurt people. They were there because their cult leader lost, and they thought if they could stop the process of the Electoral College votes being certified, that
Trump
they
was
could
sending
get their
the
cult
military.
leader back in power.
Yeah.
Now, it was all bullshit and it was all false, but they truly believed it and they were motivated because of political outcomes.
Yeah, I
So
mean,
they were definitely politically motivated. It wasn't them just going there to try to hurt people for hurting people's sake. It was they actually believed they could disrupt the democratic process of certifying the Electoral College vote, that they could actually still get their cult leader elected, and that everything would be okay if they did this. So they acted aggressively. They acted as if they were going to war. And they deserve to be treated to the fullest extent and prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law, as if they declared war on the United States of America, because they certainly did.
Well, look at all the messages that Q was sending before this. That
Yes,
this is part of this process. You guys go to Washington, you disrupt, and then Trump will all will be revealed, and Trump will be the president. I think it was kind of intimated that Trump would involve the military and do a hostile takeover, which they were fine with. But to me, I think yes, there is a solid number of people that do believe this. I think that those actions damaged their reputation. So Donald Trump had 70 million people vote for him in the election. Don't ask me how. Kudos to them for their ground game, getting people out to vote. Made it a closer election than I thought it would be. But that damaged their reputation. You're not going to see Donald Trump pull another 70 million people voting. You're not going to see Donald Trump or whoever takes over that movement when Donald Trump takes the eternal celestial dirt nap. Whoever takes over that movement is not going to.
Thanks for putting a smile on my face.
Did I give you a happy thought?
He has joined the choir eternal. But I don't think there's any happy thoughts about anything that happened in the Capitol. There shouldn't be. No. But let's be real. The people that broke in should be completely prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law.
Yep.
Donald Trump should be responsible for telling them to go there, knowing full well there's no way that nobody knew. They're just going there to say we're sorry. We're just going there to voice our opinions. No, it was widely known. It was out there. The information was there for everybody. There was known that it was going to be violent, and Donald Trump told them to go.
I just don't think that adulation of one creature, one person, and maybe I'm wrong. I mean, God, we've had how many religious wars? But adulation of one person is not inherently a political movement. It's more, who knows what it is, honestly. They don't have an agenda other than,
But they do. They do have an agenda. Their agenda's been clear from the beginning. They're afraid. They legit believe that communists and socialists are going to destroy their lives and their families and never allow them to live again. They're convinced of that.
And pedophiles are fucking kids in pizza.
Oh my God! Oh my God!
And
I didn't support
adrenochrome bullshit.
Well, yeah, they're all upset about the pedophiles, but they forgot Trump. Wasn't he one of? Wasn't he
the person who has more pictures with Jeffrey Epstein out there is Donald Trump and Prince
Bill Clinton.
Those are the two people.
And Bill Clinton.
Yeah.
Like, come on. You're backing the guy who hangs out with Epstein on his island? What the fuck? Like,
And you're wishing his whatever she was, girlfriend slash
What's her face? He's on Maxwell.
Maxwell.
He's on Maxwell. Yeah.
Wishing her well. She's a nice person.
Yeah.
Wish her
oh yeah,
well.
you know, the
creepy.
one that flew in
Mhm.
underage girls for everybody to have sex with. You know, the
Mhm.
booker of
The
the
arranger.
whole
Yeah, she was the arranger.
goddamn thing. Like, hey, you know, I found some new kids for you. Everything's okay.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Oh my god.
But they do honestly, like, you know, it may not be ideal, but when you start to think something, whatever you perceive reality to be, it is your reality. And they honestly think that everybody else out there is out to destroy them and their way of lives. They've been convinced that everybody else wants to destroy them and eradicate them from existence. They actually believe that. And so the problem is the political atmosphere that's been created where everybody is the enemy of everybody else,
Mhm.
where we've dehumanized anybody that thinks differently than we do, and where we are in this mindset that we have to defend and vote for shit, because if we don't vote for our piece of shit, the other piece of shit is going to ruin our lives, while not actually realizing, hey, we're still voting for shit that's going to hurt us. Biden was terrible. The Democrats couldn't have put up a worse person to run. He was terrible.
Yeah, it
And
seems like
Trump is terrible. They're both terrible, and they've done different terrible things, right? They have their own reasons why they're terrible, but they're still two big pieces of shit. And we're getting stuck with shit and shit because we're so convinced that our shit is, well, it doesn't stink as much as their shit does. I can't stand the smell of that one. That one's, I can't. I get a whiff of that and it makes me sick, but I can tolerate the smell of this one. So
Okay, I think that's
This
funny. It's funny. I just don't.
president.
Ooh, my phone is eating battery here. I think that's funny, but I also think that there are distinct differences.
there
And
are. There
are,
absolutely are.
Biden was not my first choice, but to his credit, if you look at just the number of COVID vaccines that have gotten out there under his watch, and that's huge. That's really huge, and it's good for all of us.
Yes,
But
to his
the
credit,
other,
he was a career politician that's put more minorities in prison due to his crime bill than any other white person in America.
I'm not disputing that.
Thanks
He
for
was
giving
not my
us that.
first choice. Well, okay, but what were the choices? What were the choices in November?
Anyone would have been better than Biden. Like, come on.
But there were no other choices. Listen, I voted
No,
for
there's
Bernie
no other
Sanders.
choices because the parties themselves suppress their own choices. That's the problem.
You're right.
Yeah.
They
You're right.
rig the
You're
system.
right.
And
The
honestly,
parties are
Jill
rigging
Jordan's
everything.
on 50 state ballots. She was there. It's
She
just
was.
that she was pushed to the side. She was marginalized because we are always marginalized.
Of course.
If you qualify to be on a ballot, right? Like if you're running for office in your community and you qualify to be on the ballot, you should automatically qualify for any type of debates.
Yep.
You should automatically be included in the list of names of people running, in the press, in the media, all of that. And if you qualify to be on all 50 ballots for a presidential election, you should automatically be in the debates and you should automatically be included in the press. You are a legitimate candidate if you're on every ballot. You are an actual choice. But our system is not designed to do that. And that's why we have such big primaries, because we don't want choice. We want suppression. We want control. That's what the political parties want. That's what the R's and D's want. The establishment of those parties doesn't give a fuck about any of us.
Yeah.
What they care about is control and keeping their purse strings open.
Well, the rank and file cares.
They care about getting money. They care about donations. They care about picking someone who is going to get them money and help recruit donations and is just slightly worse than the other team's guy, because then they can say, well, their guy is so terrible, you have to donate to us to stop them from destroying your life. That's the game when it comes to presidential politics.
So Elizabeth says the lesser two evils, douche and a turd sandwich. and it's true, everyone tolerates their own shit better than others. No, this is, if it's based on smell, I will never be president.
No.
Just be there.
No. I've had several people message me lately saying, "Hey, I hope you run for president one day." And I'm like, "Hey,
You hit me.
I thought you were my friend. Are you trying to get me assassinated? Like, a trans woman runs for president and gets any traction, and I'm gonna get shot up by half of America. Leave me alone. I ain't out to be suicided, okay? My name's not Epstein. I don't want to
Yeah.
get
I don't know. I have a trans daughter that I could easily see becoming president one day. Easily.
One day, maybe, but not in this political environment. We couldn't. There's no way in hell.
Once your message of love gets out there, and we start changing hearts and minds, and focusing people more on the idea of love, then
we have to change the culture first.
There's that.
Lower the temperature,
yeah,
and get rid of the electoral college.
I disagree with that one. I think the electoral college is important.
Why?
Because the electoral college allows a checks and balances system. What we do need, though, and here's where the problem with the electoral college came in. The electoral college was designed to make sure that small states have a voice just like bigger states. The problem that we have is that somewhere in the early 1900s, they decided, oh, well, we have enough House of Representatives members and we're not going to expand anymore. And when the House used to represent 50 to 100,000 people and now represents 750,000 people per representative, if we expand the House like we should be doing to make sure that it represents more people, we should have more representatives, we should have more representation. It's very difficult for one person to represent 750,000 people in a district or in a setting. If we allow that to expand again, the electoral college starts doing its job again because there's more representatives from the House. The numbers go up for those states with higher population.
Mm-hmm.
That's where the problem came from. That's why the electoral college is stuck. We need the electoral college because it does give smaller states a voice, and they do deserve to have a voice when it comes to that. And I think that's really important. But if we expanded the House of Representatives, if we changed the way we elect our House of Representatives and changed it into a system with ranked choice voting, then guess what happens? More people are represented. We get rid of this gerrymandering crap that divides districts and automatically places, well, this district is always going to be Republican, this district's always going to be Democrat, and we just divide it that way. And it looks like some kind of shape that you get in a psychiatry office when you're looking at pictures. Like, what the hell is this? It's a blob. Well, that's what our congressional districts look like, because they're designed to keep one of the two parties in power in those districts. Mm-hmm. We got to get rid of all of that crap. One system that I've seen that I like and I think would be cool is you take a population center, right? You take, you combine like 5 districts, and then you say, okay, well, we're going to pick 5 people from these 5 districts, but all the districts are there, right? So you get to vote for 5 people to represent that one area, right? You combine the districts.
We've got that in West Virginia, actually.
And it gives a better representation of the people overall that are in those areas, which helps.
They're doing away with it. They're doing away with it in West Virginia. So this is sad. It's the last election. There are like our high population centers like Morgantown and Charleston. Never made it out to the Eastern Panhandle where we're growing in population, but Charleston, Morgantown, Huntington have multi-member districts. So, you've got 5 members being elected in some of those districts. They're phasing it out. And, I think it's all going to end up being gerrymandered to hell. The Republicans have a supermajority here. And it'll probably be, you'll probably have, 10 Democrats packed into very heavily Democratic districts. And the rest are going to be, probably 60% majority Republican districts going forward. The 2 reforms, I like your idea. I've always advocated that we need more representatives. If we had the number of representatives that people have in England, which is based on, I think, about 60,000 voters,
exactly,
we would have 3,500 representatives in Washington.
And our representatives would be local. They'd actually be representing us and not just the biggest city in our district.
Yeah.
They'd be
The other thing-
representing all of us. We'd have people representing smaller communities.
Mhm.
That's
Yeah.
huge. We don't have that in the smaller
No,
communities.
we don't. The other thing I would advocate for as far as reform on the electoral college is going to that Maine Nebraska situation where
Yes.
You win this popular vote of the state because the way that they apportion districts, if people don't know, you get 2 votes based on your senators. Those would go to the winner of the popular vote throughout the whole state. Each congressional district would apportion an electoral vote based on the popular vote winner within that congressional district. So
Yeah.
you don't
Getting
have
rid
that
of the-
winner take all. Somebody wins Texas with 50.1% of the vote, and they get every electoral vote. That's asinine. I don't know why we continue to do that. That's where you can reform the system without
Yes.
removing that small state protection.
Agreed.
And
Agreed.
then
Yeah.
having
It should be
much
by
greater
district.
voice, much greater voice in Washington for small communities and large communities as well.
Yeah. And if you get rid of that winner take all, then every state becomes a potential swing state.
Yeah.
Because now you have to go campaign in districts. Now you got to win a
Mhm.
district and get that electoral college vote in that district.
Trump,
Then you got to go to this district.
Trump went up to Maine, which is a fairly Democratic state, but he went up to Maine. He won an electoral vote there. Biden went to Nebraska. He had I don't think he went to Nebraska, but he had a heavy ground game in Nebraska because there was a
There's
chance
an
he could get that one electoral vote.
Exactly. And then it's not just between the 7 or 8 states where the winner take all. I completely agree with that, and I believe, strongly that the electoral college is broken. We don't need to get rid of it. We need to fix it. And adding more representatives on congressional districts is the first step. And I think the second step is absolutely you win that district, you get the vote, not winner take all. The winner take all system is designed
Just for the 2 Senate votes, and then your congressional districts are your extra votes.
exactly. And the winner take all system is designed to only give us 6 or 7 battleground states. It's designed to suppress the vote. That's why it's there. They don't want people to go out and vote. They don't want you to actually care about what's happening in government. They want you to turn a blind eye and get sick of it and walk away so they can just control things.
So Thomas Daniel Queter is hanging out with us tonight. He says Queter for POTUS 2024. I
Good
dig-
luck to you.
Yeah, I wouldn't do
I'm
it.
sorry, Tom.
Cassie Daly
condolences.
says hi, Valentes and the Goddess.
Hello.
Hi, Casey. I'm sorry.
Wait, I'm not the goddess?
There's only one goddess, Ashley. You may be the goddess Kara, but I am goddess Ashley.
Yeah.
There's only one.
Okay.
And in the Libertarian Party, everybody knows who the goddess is.
I just am surprised to know that I'm not tonight. I'm usually the goddess.
Well, you can change your name. You can change your name on there.
Oh, I see. Oh, see, when I do this, I'm trying to read because of progressive lenses.
In fact, I'll edit your name.
Oh no, this could be bad. I might have to go.
There we go.
Goddess Care Bear. There you go.
No.
Beautiful. Well, from one goddess to another. Hello.
Hello,
Happy
darling.
Valentine's Day.
That's
Happy
right.
Valentine's Day to
everybody
you
out there.
too. And you are a beautiful, wonderful, powerful woman. I am so proud of you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
You're welcome.
she's an absolute doll. When I'll be at work and shit's going on at work, and all of a sudden I look at my phone and she sent like this really nice meme, just
No.
a little saying. She does this to everybody, and it's fantastic. I love it.
Oh,
Right, it's
cool.
Well, I don't just talk about love. I have to show it.
That's
I mean,
right.
love is what I believe in. And people
Me
will
too.
say, well, some people don't deserve it, and it's not about whether or not somebody deserves it or not. It's about what you believe in. And I believe in love, and I believe that love is how we truly change the culture. And so, I try to make sure that my friends and the people that I'm connected with know that I care about them and that I love them and that they're important to me. And so, I will take a little time if I find something, nice. I'll share it with a bunch of people and be like, "Hey, I hope this makes you feel as good as it did when I saw it," kind of thing.
That's
So,
awesome.
That's really cool.
Well, thank you for doing that. That always seems to come through right at the right time, and like,
I do have a good intuition of knowing when people seem to need those things. It's really weird. A lot of times, at least 2 or 3 people a day when I send them are like, I really needed that today. And I was like, I really need it every day. So I just send it to everybody because if I need it, I know somebody else does too. It's always good to share the good stuff. We never get to share the good stuff with each other. I think that's crazy. We should share all the good things.
that's right.
Ashley, I'm a teacher,
Hmm.
and I work with this very difficult population, middle school with emotional disturbances. And my colleague and I send each other the most ridiculous gifts and memes all day long. And
Yeah.
it's the only way we would get through it,
Mhm.
It's
We
pretty
have to
fun.
lift each other up to get through,
Yeah.
right?
It's
It's
true.
all about, if COVID has taught us one thing as a society, it's that people need each other.
Hmm.
Human
That's
beings
true.
are not meant to be secluded away from other people. We
No,
we
we're
are
not.
meant to interact. We're meant to be there for each other. We're meant to be involved around each other. And you can have extroverts and introverts and all different kinds of people, but humanity itself cannot survive isolated without other people. We just
Nope.
can't do it. It affects our mental well-being. It affects our entire health. And so it's really important, especially in this day and age, to really show people that we care about them, that we appreciate them, and just take a time out of the day to send somebody a message and be like, "Hey, you're awesome. Don't forget that. Like, you're a great person. I just want you to know that." Send a fun meme that's cheerful and brightens somebody's spirit.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, you take 2 seconds to send somebody a nice message, and it could make their entire day better.
Yeah,
It's
Right?
it
true.
does.
And
It does.
that's what it's about with love. That's what it's about with changing the culture and making things better. We
Mm.
have to be the example. We have to be willing to do that with each other.
Yeah,
So it starts right here.
That's right.
it does.
So I'm
Uh,
always happy to do that and send messages and be uplifting and show people the way.
Oh, you're a doll.
so let me bring it back to the world of politics. Even though
But we were having fun.
We're talking about love, and now you want to
Talking
get
about
into
love, now I'm going
hatred
back to Joe
again.
so Joe Biden had a Super Bowl interview. Kind of the annual tradition that the president gets interviewed on Super Bowl evening. Interviewed by CBS News, and of course, you guys know my passion about what's going on between the United States and Iran. He announces that Iran has to comply with the JCPOA, the Joint. I can't remember the acronym, but anyway, it's the agreement between the United States and Iran on nuclear enrichment, and then the United States provides some sanction relief in response to Iran, not enriching their uranium. My problem with his statement is that Donald Trump left the JCPOA voluntarily in 2018.
Mhm.
And the United States abrogated the agreement on their own. Joe Biden's position that Iran has to now comply without any give back or anything like that, or any negotiation. They have to just comply with the JCPOA once again. I think is completely folly. I mean, that's the move of a bully. That, oh well, we can dip out of this agreement anytime we want to, but you have to follow it when we tell you have to follow it.
The U.S. being a bully?
I know.
The hell you say?
Wait a minute. The United States would never interfere with another government.
No.
Not Iran.
That
No.
doesn't happen
Not
in the
Iran,
United
especially
States.
Iran. No.
The United States doesn't dictate to the world. The United States doesn't care about foreign policy.
The axis of evil was just talking about a graph, a mathematical graph. That's
Mhm.
the axis. I mean,
Look, again, from one piece of shit to another, they've got different stenches. They're still pieces of shit.
yeah, that's what bothered me about, because I saw some articles that came out. My friend Holly sent me a podcast. Dennis Ross was interviewed by the Institute in Middle East something. Anyway, he was interviewed. He's advising Joe Biden on his Iran policy, and it's basically the same. I would label it as borderline neocon policy.
Yeah. I mean, he's following Bush's plan.
Which is
Congratulations, we've got the fifth term of George W. Bush. George W. Bush foreign policy. Like that's I mean, every president since Bush has followed the same foreign policy. Obama followed it, Trump followed it, now Biden's following it. The foreign policy aspect hasn't changed. It's so terrible.
Well, let's not say that anybody's foreign policy was anything like Trump's.
Oh yeah,
He
Trump's
smashed
just
all of our
he
relationships.
ruined a lot of
internationally.
relationships, but he didn't. I will give him credit. He didn't bomb new countries like other people did. So I guess he deserves a little bit of credit for that.
But that would have interfered with his golf.
Yeah,
And you have to remember,
he didn't bomb new
golf
countries. He
first.
bombed the shit out of some old countries.
of course, golf first.
True.
The man likes to play with his shaft and balls.
They're
Obviously, Molina's not doing it for him. He's got to get some action somewhere.
incredibly small. Incredibly small balls. Believe me.
Miliano's
Oh
not
my
playing
God.
with the shaft and balls. He's got to go to the course, get it done. Like, hey,
oh my God. Oh my God.
he's got to get some action.
I don't want that mental image.
Did you see the videotape of that moron from Georgia, that green woman
Yeah, Taylor Green. Yeah.
petting the crotch of the cardboard cutout of Donald Trump? And
oh no, I did not see that.
oh, it was obvious. She just reached down with her hand and she was petting it.
Well, Trump said he likes to grab women by the pussy, so now it's his turn.
Yeah, turnabout's
He's getting-
Turnabout's
he's
fair
getting
play.
his-
It's not
getting his
fair, though.
pussy petted.
It's
Oh my
not
God.
fair that I have to see that.
It is fair that you have to think about it all night on Valentine's Day.
I had to see it. You should have to see it. My gift to you, do. Oh, it was horrible. It was horrifying, and I remember when I first saw it, I was like, the fuck? Does she know that because she was reaching behind her.
Oh, she knew.
Is she aware?
Oh, no, she was.
But then she kind of turned and she was stroking it. Oh, no. Make it stop.
David,
And
I
she's
see
so
your
dumb.
wheels turning like you're imagining it, and I'm like, why?
Yeah, it hurts. It hurts so bad.
You don't
Why?
picture
Because
it.
my
I'm not
mind works
picturing
that
it.
No, my mind works that way. It goes to the wrong place, and it
But which part bothers you? The image of him or the image of her?
Both.
yeah.
Oh,
And
she's
that's kinda-
gross.
That's.
I mean,
kinda
David's just wondering if she stuck her tongue out and started licking it.
I know.
Later.
That's the real question David is thinking about. That's where his mind
Later.
is going. Like, did she fondle it? Did she unzip his pants? Did she put her mouth on it?
the nipple.
Oh.
The most famous nipples in politics belong to Spike Cohen.
Mike Owen. Where's his mixtape though?
Spike, where's that?
Although we've all
mixtape?
seen
Mixtapes,
Melania's
like-
too. Melania
yeah.
wore that see-through top and no bra. Do you remember
Yeah.
that?
Well, I
But
mean,
Spike's nipples are real, and they didn't have to be paid for.
Well, and this wasn't her modeling days. This was when she was first lady.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, she still has the same fake tits that she's always had.
Yeah.
No, they're new. She got some new ones in what was it, 18?
Oh yeah, that's right. She got some new ones. That's where the loan from
Kidney-
Russia came from.
Kidney surgery.
Kidney surgery.
She went in for some kidney surgery. Uh-huh.
Yeah. Well, she probably did have kidney surgery too. I mean, my kidneys would be shot if my husband was fucking Donald Trump. Like, my whole body would be shot. Like, I would need surgery on my ass, my head. Like,
Mm.
I'm
I
surprised.
beg of you. I beg of you never to say fucking Donald Trump again.
Yeah. These are-
Somebody's got to give that woman a colonoscopy. Her head's got to be found somewhere up there.
Well,
Someone
you know,
please save Melania. Get her head out of her ass.
that was the one thing, people before after the election was over or declared, people were like, all right, so when's Melania gonna divorce?
Never.
Well, we know that Donald Trump is very fond of prenups, so you know that she's not gonna get shit getting out of there.
No, she's
What?
not going anywhere. She's just waiting
No,
for him to
she
die.
She'll go
No.
when the money runs out. When he runs out of money, then there's no reason to stick.
He's
And I
not going
think
to run
that's
out of money. He's
happening
going to die
imminently.
first.
That's
He doesn't have any money.
Donald Trump, everybody's worried about Donald Trump running again in 2024. He'll be lucky to still be alive. He just survived COVID. He's in his mid-70s. His health is not great. Like, I mean, the odds that even Joe Biden is still alive in 2024 to run for re-election are small.
Yeah,
And Joe Biden is 78 and just became put in the most stressful job in the world. I don't see him surviving to the next election.
He might.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not.
I don't. He's not going to
I don't even
survive
wanna-
midterms. That's for sure.
I don't even want to look that far ahead right now. I just want to. There's so much awful to get over from the last 4 years, and especially the last year, and the COVID thing, and we just got to get. As much as I didn't support Biden in the primary, and I have been a Bernie Sanders supporter for years. And as disappointed as I was that he was our nominee, the fact that things aren't batshit crazy every fucking day, that I don't wake up at 3 a.m. to check and see what that moron has tweeted, that I can sleep at night. Huh?
Thanks for taking him off Twitter.
Oh my God. Yeah. Thank you, Twitter. But I don't have to worry that he is out there doing the crazy shit that he's doing, and that I wake up in the morning and there's a nice story about Jill Biden putting Valentine's on the lawn. Just feels good. I mean, I don't want to get into the weeds with the crime bill and all that other stuff, because 4 more years of that, and I don't know if you can see this. I got this gap in my teeth. I used to have this perfect smile. But in the last 4 years, I've clenched my jaw so much. I have broken all the molars over here and all the molars over here, and my teeth have spread. And now I need oral surgery to correct this problem. And I mourn my beautiful smile, but I also mourn being able to chew something more brittle than a Ritz cracker.
I would say that makes for a good claim that it should be tax deductible.
Well, speaking of tax deductible, for the last year, I've been working remotely in my home. I had to upgrade my internet to support 3 full-time workers working on our internet.
Yeah.
I had to, I've been working from home. That teachers don't get to claim any of their expenses working from home. Nothing.
Well, they didn't think it was going to happen. That's the thing.
Well, it doesn't matter. We should be able to grandfather that in.
The tax system is ridiculous.
It is ridiculous. Now,
It's
I
designed
don't
to help
mind.
corporations, not people.
I don't mind paying taxes, but I want my taxes to go to the social safety net and to building our schools and to improving things like, okay, so we're in a pandemic. We should have supplies in our classroom that what they're doing when they want us to go back for social distancing, they're doing the Les Nessman office wall thing with tape. I'm not kidding you. That is our social distancing. That is what we're being given as teachers. They expect us to go back soon. Hybrid. We've been virtual we went back hybrid in September and October, and the numbers exploded. And so we went back home and been teaching virtually, and it's been much better. Now they want us to try hybrid again, which means that we'll be teaching half of the students online, half of them in person at the same time. So someone's going to have to operate a camera and deal with the slideshow. We can't provide them with handouts, or any shared materials. So textbooks, they have to bring their Chromebooks, they have to work online. So they're just being brought to a building for no other reason than presence. There will be no difference in instruction, except that instead of the half-day synchronous learning and half-day asynchronous learning plan that we've worked out that has been working really, really well for our program, will suddenly be an 8-hour day. Well, for 7:25 in the morning until 2:25 in the afternoon. Plus, I'm on an extended contract, so I have an 8-hour day. But of kids that my kids, we are required to train how to handle physical intervention in case they start fighting or attacking staff. We have to learn how to do holds, so we have to practice that. And they're saying it doesn't matter if we vaccinate teachers. It doesn't matter. It's safe to go back. Children aren't testing positive for COVID. Well, let me tell you something about that. And I want you to think about this. If your family gets sick with COVID and you go to the doctor as mom or dad and you take the COVID test and you know your family's got COVID, right? The kids don't go and get tested. It doesn't happen. So the kids are getting just as sick, if not sicker, and having all these bizarre syndromes that come of COVID. And the long haulers seem to be more prevalent among young people. We don't know. And so you're going to put us back in the classroom and disrupt their already aggressive learning schedule that we've finally gotten them to buy into. And you're giving us our protection that they've given us. We have a shield if we want to use it. We have a cloth mask that has holes in it. It's made of polyester that has holes in it. And it has ABS. It's really cute. We have a cloth mask, and we have to clean our classroom in between each shifting, and the chemical spray they've given.
That 10 minutes to clean the classroom.
5.
Five.
Yeah, completely clean the classroom and staff. And then when we were in hybrid, we didn't have. We were supposed to have people come and clean our classroom daily. Didn't have my trash emptied one time in 6 weeks. Apparently we just do not matter. I'd love to see money go to I don't have a problem paying taxes at all. I don't have a problem with it. But I want to see it go to make sure that our communities are well. That's our money. I'd love to see a universal basic income to see us get through this. And, I look at my paycheck and what comes out. Of course, they take out 30% so they can pay us during the summer. They take out my insurance and my pension. It's a huge amount of money. And, what looks on paper to be a great salary is really pretty small. And then they're talking about, bringing us back and taking away our duty-free lunch and our prep period, which is critical, so that we can make sure that the kids are okay during their lunch because they can't be in the cafeteria. And, maybe we'll extend the school year. We can't do that. We're on contract. So, okay, if you want to pay us accordingly and extend our contract by those days, that would be, for someone like me, I don't mind doing that. My partner works full time. I can't exactly go away for 3 months, though. God, that sounds wonderful. And here's the thing. Patrick and I have talked about getting an RV and just going away, or maybe making a food truck and just traveling and going to see baseball games all over the country.
There you go. Although there's fewer minor league teams to see now.
Yeah.
That's sad.
That is sad.
Oh, we got a question. Do you have one of those masks that we can see? What's the
Um,
stupidity of the mask?
I will have it next week. I am
Okay.
not sure where it is. I am now a mask connoisseur.
My
They're
wife is too.
everywhere. Not sure where that one is. It might be in my leather jacket. But oh, and dude, I got my van back.
You got the van back?
I got my van back.
Oh, Lord.
Did you not know about
Is that
this?
the air conditioning?
Oh, it was so much more than that. My van was in the shop for 20 weeks
For what? Did
for
they rebuild the
everything.
entire thing?
Okay.
It seems like it. Okay, so I have a 2010 Chrysler Town and Country. It's the divorce mobile. It's what I got in the divorce. And it has like 160,000 miles on it. And the air conditioner hasn't worked for years. But I took it into the shop last year to another mechanic, and he said, "Oh, that noise you're hearing is the compressor from the air conditioner. There's a ball bearing that's going to just fuck up your engine. So you got to fix that." Well, I waited, and then COVID happened, so I didn't drive it for a while. Got it in August. $2,000 later, he had to replace the entire air conditioning system. Got the van back. Didn't drive it for a month because we were virtual. Went back to hybrid and got in the van, turned it on, and no air conditioning. And the check engine light was on. So I called him and I said, "Hey, Dave," his name's Dave. "Dave, I don't know what to do. The air conditioner's blowing hot air. It is hot. It was September, but it was hot." And he said, "I don't know. Bring it back in and I'll take a look at it." So it remained there until last weit. And I got it back. In the interim, I have, and he was great actually. It took him months to figure out where the leak was in the air conditioning. There was a valve a seal that had been cut by the sharp edges of the aluminum. This is all I understand. But the check engine light, this was the funny thing. So he does the check engine light, puts it up to the computer. There's a leak in the exhaust system, and there's a part, I'm not sure what it's called, and maybe one of your viewers knows, GFR, GER, REG, ERG, something like that has to do with the fuel system. That needed to be replaced. And then there was a second auxiliary kind of fuel thing that it was leaking. And so I wouldn't have passed emissions if I hadn't gotten that fixed. So he fixed that. And then he said, your front seat was bugging the shit out of me. Of course, it just never moved. It never worked. I don't know what Charles did to it, but it just never worked. And the plastic on the side was off. And he took the whole seat out and he welded everything again underneath, put it back on and got the plastic back on. And now it works beautifully.
Nice.
So he replaced my windshield wipers. He took it for a wash. He took it for the emissions test. I mean, the guy was really great. And he only charged me, I think I'm into him for like $2,700 now. I've already paid it. But holy shit, 20 weeks
without the vehicle. Damn.
without the vehicle. But Patrick bought a really cool car this year, so I've been enjoying driving that. He got a on Carvana, that's the one you order online, a 2017 Ford Energy C-Max Energy. It's a plug-in hybrid. And that's a lot of fun to drive. So you plug it in and it gets like 1,000 miles to the gallon. And it says it 1,000 miles to the gallon, and which is crazy good. But last week, some asshole stole the power cord that was connecting it to the house and just walked off with it. So we ordered a new power cord. It should be here tomorrow. I told him.
Well, that reminds me when we moved to Albuquerque.
Well, before you get into the story, I do need to go. So,
okay.
Oh my God, it's so nice to meet you, you doll.
Thank you.
All right, I'm going to send you a friend request.
Yeah.
Please do. Love to talk to you some more.
Me too.
David, thank you so much for having me.
Yes, thank you for coming on. I really appreciate it. Thank you for coming on the After Dark program, and we'll talk to you real soon.
Thank you.
All right.
I look forward to it.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day.
All right.
She's great.
Yes. She is.
And I should probably go too because I'm still kind of on a date. Actually,
Yeah, I need to go hang out with my wife. So
you should go hang out with your
she's
wife.
awesome.
But yeah, I got it back, so I'm really happy. And fortunately, you don't have to plug in the car to drive it. So
I was gonna relay the
about
story.
Albuquerque. Okay,
We first moved to
Yeah.
Albuquerque. We brought down the Vega from the mountains.
the Vega.
They had the CB system in it because Grandma and Grandpa were rocking the CBs back in the 70s. And first day we were there, that CB antenna got stolen off the top of it. We're like, oh, this is Albuquerque's welcome wagon, I guess. They don't give you
Indeed. Yeah, they'll steal the weirdest shit. Like that only works on a Ford C-Max Energy. It's not like something you can hawk. I mean, I guess if I looked on Facebook Marketplace, I'd probably find it.
Yeah,
probably some fool is selling it.
from
And I'll just send the police to their house.
there you go.
So anyway, I should probably let you go.
Yes, and thank everyone for joining us tonight on the Political
Thank
Deep
you.
Dive After Hours. And I love you, Care Bear. And
I
happy
love you, Doobie Doo.
And we'll talk to everybody next week. We're talking with some Tennessee libertarians that are starting I'm very big into the idea of creating better discourse in politics, and this group is doing that. They're kind of more. They're moving more into a nonpartisan space. So we'll be talking to them next week, Justin Cornett and Josh Eckel. So that'll be our show next week. And thanks everyone for joining. And we will talk to you again in a week. Bye, everybody.
See you next week. Love you, do. Say hi to Aaliyah.
I will.
Bye.
Bye.